When you win, you come around, you'll get a bell. Every lap after that first bell.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Got some track racing footage from the Wednesday Night League at Hellyer Velodrome in San Jose. This is the first track race I got to do since getting out of the cast, which I was pretty excited about because right before I broke my hand, I had just gotten this big old 52 tooth chain ring, which was a pretty big upgrade from the like 48 or 49 teeth I had before. And I put it on my bike and then hadn't gotten to use it. So I was pretty excited about it. Did feel a lot better having the bigger gear. Definitely like it more than the spinning. And so got an Omnium for you tonight. First race is an unknown distance. Basically that means you don't know how long the race is until they ring the bell, and then it's one to go. And so I found out when we were on the line for this and they told us how it works. I thought it was just like they picked a random number, but they actually roll 3 dice, and so there is like some betting and probability going on, which I hadn't realized in prior unknown distances I'd done. So 3 dice means our race could be anywhere between 3 and 18 laps, and statistics say that it's most likely going to be 10 or 11 laps. So decided I wanted to stay near the front, like stay top 7 riders most of the race, since we had a field of like 20 or so, which I did a pretty good job of that, and then be ready to get aggressive around 10 or 11 laps in. If it was earlier than that, then I might get burned, and I see what kind of sprint I could do. And if you get past 11 laps, every lap that you're on is the most likely one. So after that, you got to really be near the front and ready to race. Seems like common strategy too is people like take a flyer and bet on a couple of laps basically, which I think I was ready to do if we'd gotten past the midway point, but I didn't want to commit to anything in the first half of the race. And so I did a pretty good job for most of this race, not putting my nose in the wind. But here is a move going, and I think this happens to be right when they ring the bell. So I'm not in a bad spot here. I should have been would have been great if I had been like following that move up on that last turn. That would have put me in like the ideal spot, but not a bad spot here. I was not feeling very snappy, as you can tell. I couldn't really come around this guy, but that kind of got better as the night went on. I think this is like the sharpest effort I'd done in a while since I had the time off with the cast, but just missed out on the points. But unknown distance, I wasn't really like feeling invested in. It's a lot of gambling and not so much how good the legs are doing. So the next one was a tempo race, which I'm a big fan of tempo races because it rewards you for being at the front and racing hard, which I think is the most fun way to race. So I lined up near the front, and you can see as soon as we go here, it's going to be fast from the gun. And so tempo race is winner every lap gets 2 points, second place gets 1 point, and then on the last lap, it goes like 3 places deep maybe. So I'm up near the front being aggressive here. These are kind of like all the main protagonists we just saw, the 2 specialized guy and then this San Jose bike club in the blue in front of me. There's no points on offer on that very first lap, so that's the first time they ring the bell, and then subsequent laps there's points on offer. And so I thought we were going to get to cruise through to first and second points, but those guys made a little move here. And then this guy in the orange helmet also followed that, and the 5 of us got some pretty good separation early. And so the specialized guys on the front were like pretty committed to driving this, and they were just doing the rotating for this first part, and I was pretty all right with that. I was like happy to just sit back, because usually there's like an early move that goes and gets a bunch of points in these, and then it gets brought back, and then there's like a later move that goes, and the last lap has more points, so it is better to be in the late move if you are strong enough. And so I was happy to let them take points because they were driving the pace pretty fast here. We had a pretty healthy gap, and you'll see, yeah, one of them pulls off there, and the pace is going to drop a little bit after we come through this next sprint. But then the 3 of us who had been sitting on at that point, it was kind of like, all right, here's our opportunity to get some points. And so I think this is the first lap, yeah, where the specialized guys get challenged, and see he tries to come back in. And I was thinking about going for this sprint, but I decided I would give it one more lap, let these guys go for the points, and you'll see all three of them are going to sprint for it. Only two of you get points, so that's why I was like, don't need to make it a 4-up thing. So I kind of sat back and watched that one. Everybody sits up a little bit, and then I was going to attack on the inside, but this guy puts down some power, so I follow him. He's been on the front a lot, so I didn't think it would be too hard to take the points off him, so that's what I'm doing here. Coming around on the last corner here, and going to get on the scoreboard. 2 big points. And I was intending to just take the points and slot back in, but if you see the shadows there, I actually got a gap. So I decided I would commit to this and just get as many points as I could by myself, and then, you know, if I could hold on to anything when it comes past me later, that's great, but otherwise I was just going to commit solo here and get as many points as I could. So see, I'm still by myself, got those points. And I was looking back here, and I think I decided, I was like, oh, I should back off this and make it like a little bit more sustainable so maybe the whole field doesn't blow by me. But I think in retrospect, I should have just kept churning as hard as I could and I definitely would have gotten this lap. But instead, because I eased up here, this guy's going to come past me. I still get the 2nd place point, but I got the 2nd place points instead of the 1st place points, and then you see I'm all over the track here because I'm really tired, and I don't have the legs to go with anything else, and so I end up getting dropped when the group comes past and just slow rolling in by myself. You see we had a pretty healthy gap, and yeah, now like some new guys who haven't gotten points are coming up to the front. Seems to be kind of how these tempo races go. There's like an early move and a late move that take most of the points. I think there were still a couple there, but I wasn't getting any points from them. Just sat up and rolled in. The last race of the night was a scratch race, 16 laps, so not crazy long. I did a pretty good job all race of staying in like the front 7 or so wheels. It's following the same, you know, characters from that first break. You know, they're all right in front of me here, the same 4 guys, and so I was like pretty content every time I was on their wheels, since they've been the main animators all night and, you know, took up the podium spots for the Omnium. And so this is probably like the furthest back I've been actually, but don't really mind it since the other guys that I'm concerned about in the race are also back here. And so the main goal is to just try and conserve as much energy as I can so that I can use it all in the last few laps. And so see a little move on the inside there. I didn't really want to go for the early move. I was more content to let these guys who've been doing the work all night continue to do the work and bring us back to the front of the race. I think that was 4 laps ago we just saw. So starting to come down to it. Group is all across the track watching that one go, but see the guys at the top start to accelerate a little, and you get that downhill momentum. So they're going to bring us back up to speed here, and everybody is just kind of trying to get slotted back in now. And all the same guys I was worried about before, the same guys up at the front here. So like where I'm at, in good company. I don't want to get like caught on the front at this point, so definitely trying to stay behind these guys. I think this is the consequential move here. There was nobody to my left. I should have followed the guy with the orange helmet underneath this guy on the red bike and taken that spot, but I didn't know if he was going to slide down too quickly there. The guy in the orange helmet you see ends up going around the outside, and I think he ends up getting 2nd. And instead of being on his wheel, I'm caught like one wheel too far back and can't follow that. Now I'm having to go around everybody who's pulling up off the track, and there's a little bit of a gap that's going there. And yeah, trying to fight over guys going 3 wide. But yeah, so that one little move there should have slid on the inside, and I think it would have set me up a lot better for the finish. But still not a bad scratch race. I think I got pipped at the line here, and I ended up getting 6th, which doesn't get any Omnium points, which is a bummer. But I felt good about how I raced, despite not getting any points out of it. I think I ended up 6th on the night. for the Omnium overall, which is not horrendous in a field of 20. Happy with it for the first race in a while. So thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for more this summer.